Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea. A longer single best idea. The greatest point of debate today was Everybody's Business is a fabulous podcast. Subscribe to Everybody's Business. Mac Chafkin and Stacey Vanek Smith. This is nurturing. It's a year old. It's like a hipper, younger kind of, not lighter. That doesn't get it, but just a more aggressive, accessible view of all the mumbo jumbo we talk about. Max and Stacey are killing it. Look to Everybody's Business. They were talking, and they have this raging debate over how long a podcast should be. There's so much news flow. This should be a 1 hour single best idea. We're going to try to keep it under 4 minutes today. What a great Jobs Day show. Claudia Sahm will get to. Thank you so much for joining earlier. First, Neil Dutta. I'm doing LinkedIn. I'm looking through the thing, and this chart screams at me. And I know it's the beverage curve. The beverage curve is William Beveridge out of the London School of Economics, like your grandfather's time, or your great-grandfather's time, I should say. And it's basically the ratio of unemployment, the movement of unemployment versus job openings. It has a lot of information in it. And Neil Dutta says, look, we're in a trend, and the trend is towards a more difficult jobs market. Neil Dutta of RenMec.
We've more than normalized. I mean, if you go back a couple of years ago to what Christopher Waller was saying, remember that he basically posited that, you could have sort of tightening monetary policy without much of an increase in unemployment because you're operating along a point in that beverage curve where you would see a big decline in job openings without much of an increase in unemployment. He was right, but he basically said that when you get to a certain point on job openings, if you see any further decline in sort of excess labor demand, in this case proxied by job openings, that would lead to more outsized increases in the unemployment rates.
Neil Dutta there. The one thing I would say here, and I have not read many reports yet, we were doing the show just before this taping, but I think what you're going to see here is a lot of positive construct on the labor economy. And without looking at any of the data, I still think what has changed in America is immigration. And this goes back to Angus Madison, and just immigration and headcount matter within this analysis. And I'm putting a big asterisk by all this stuff because I don't understand, forget about the political debate, what President Trump has done from President Biden on immigration and that path forward as well. So I tell you, folks, I really take the media certitude of this with a real grain of salt. I love Neil Dutta's skepticism. Anchoring our broadcast, Claudia Sahm. She's definitive with the Michigan credibility that she has. She's changed American economics with the Sahm rule, with a wonderful call last year to forget about a recession. She did that quite well. Claudia Sahm today from 60,000 feet on how AI folds into our labor economy.
Any of these conversations about how AI is going to reshape the labor market, these are really looking forward, right? We've already seen a pretty remarkable step down in the labor share. This has happened over recent decades, but we're seeing it again this year. And as you mentioned, in the third quarter, that, blockbuster productivity number, workers didn't share in that. Right, the labor share is down. It's at the lowest level in post-World War II history. And this is before we've really seen any of the, AI have like a big picture effect on the labor market. So, this is a real issue.
Claudia Sahm there, New Century Advisors. What a great week. It really felt, folks, like the first week of the new year. I mean, I think it was yesterday or the day before really was like, okay, everybody's back. Everybody's in meetings. Let's go. It doesn't start January 2nd or 3rd. It takes, a week or so. And we're there right now. We'll move forward. Look to Joe Matthew, Balance of Power. Joe Matthew just dealing with all of the news flow out of Washington. Just an extraordinary burden there. And we'll be with you next week on Bloomberg Surveillance. We're in a podcast on Apple, on Spotify, and YouTube podcasts. It's Single Best Idea.